Hey now, it's Brace for Impact, and I'm your host, Mike Gilbert, and I'm joined as always by JD by God Oliva. How you doing, JD?
Eh,
That's it?
eh. I was coaching. We had a national tournament the last 2 days, and used to winning or taking like third at the least, and we took sixth. And my standards are higher than that, and minimal effort today.
Yeah.
So I'm eh.
Oh, Coach JD is not happy with that.
No, he's not actually. He's very unhappy with that.
Yeah.
So, how are you? How's
Dude,
the
I'm doing.
sunshine?
Yeah. It's nice and sunny outside. So we had a catastrophe here at the Gilbert household. I know everybody's like, everything is perfect where I'm at right now because I'm in Hawaii. However, not so perfect when your air conditioner goes out. So, we had to get a portable air conditioning unit for my bedroom, for my daughter's bedroom, and for the downstairs. So we had to get three different ones, which was kind of expensive. Thankfully, the housing community lent us one for my daughter's room, so we had to buy two. So not too bad. But I'm in the only room without air conditioning. So if I just start sweating profusely out of nowhere, it's because I'm in the only room in the house without AC.
I'll try hard not to laugh at you. I'm glad things are going good or not. Well, whatever. I don't care.
That I'm experiencing slight
Yeah,
discomfort.
you're slightly discomforted. So there's
Yeah.
there's far greater sins in this world. So
Yeah, dude. Well, I run hot all the time, so I like to keep it at like 67, 68 degrees in the house.
yeah, me too.
That's how I roll. And so lately, like it's been like 75, 76, and then overnight it gets down to like 72. So that's what we've been experiencing since Sunday. So that's how our life is going here.
That sounds just awful, man. Just absolutely awful. I don't know how you're doing it.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, it makes it better because today for work, I got to go to the beach for my job. So we teamed up with the Navy today to go out to the one of the beaches on base, and we're on the Air Force side. So where I'm at is Joint Base Pearl Harbor Hickam, right? And so and Navy kind of owns the whole thing. So if you ever watched NCIS Hawaii, that's where we're at right now. And so Navy runs the whole thing, but we do some of the water stuff out here. And so to make sure that our beaches are safe, my team has been tasked to go out and swim out into the ocean about 25 feet in and take water samples to make sure there's no bacteria, because there's a wastewater treatment plant down the road. So that's part of what our gig is. So like I literally have to go to the beach once or twice a month for my job, which is pretty cool.
I just learned that there was an NCIS Hawaii.
So we started watching it once I got orders here, and like they actually film it here. And so I went and looked online to see when they're looking for extras, because I'm totally doing that. I want to be dead guy number 7 on one of the episodes.
You actually get taken care of if you get like a featured extra role. I believe if you're a featured extra, you are SAG eligible. So that's
Oh,
always good to know. Um, like I said, I didn't know. I just hope they shoot it in Hawaii. You don't want to shoot NCS Hawaii in like Utah.
well, you know how it is. Like sometimes they'll shoot up in Canada and they'll say they're in LA or
Not
something
on
like
the
that. You
not
know?
on the beach.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, they have beaches in Canada.
I'm sure there's beaches everywhere, but I mean Canada isn't known for their lovely beaches. I'm sure Paul or someone, this first Canadian that popped into my head, will
Yeah.
come and Josiah will come and correct me about the wonderful beaches that are in Canada. We have
Well,
beaches in Chicago too. They ain't nothing to write home about.
well, speaking of Josiah, I want to give a special shout out to our buddy Josiah McDonald from the Wrestling Observer team. He's also on Daily DDT, and he helped out last week. He filled in for JD while JD was on the road, and he did a great job. Our Canadian buddy, our Canadian pastor friend. Hey, I did so good last week. I didn't say a single cuss word.
Well,
I,
goddamn.
I I really think I should be commended for that, because as you guys know, I'm not very intelligent. So my vocabulary is not the best. So I have to curse in order for me to make a point sometimes.
There's studies done that say smart people swear more, but that might also just be social media bullshit. So
Yeah, yeah.
thank you, Josiah. I was stuck in a hotel with a bunch of 16-year-olds last week, so I really appreciate that.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Well, hey, this week we had I thought a pretty solid episode this
Yeah.
week. The main event was awesome. I absolutely loved the main event. I couldn't have been happier with that main event. But what before we get into it, what did you think of the overall show this
Yeah,
week?
pretty good. Pretty good on the
Yeah,
whole. There's some things that I think are, emblematic of this show, things that I like and things that I hate, but for the most part, I was really entertained.
yeah, yeah. Some hokey stuff. Speaking of hokey, Decay, Black Taurus, and Crazy Steve defeated Johnny Swinger and Zicky Dice on the BTI pre-show. And that was talking BTI. So there you go. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for talking BTI with us.
I don't hate that actually for a BTI this week. Like
I
I'm not gonna watch it, but I don't hate it.
right. I think on BTI, not that it'll get me to start watching, but I think it'll get me to pay a little bit more attention to it if they feature like some feature performers every week just squashing dudes. I think that would be cool. Like, WCW Worldwide back in the day or something like that.
Worldwide was fun at times.
Yeah.
It wasn't a perfect show, but it was a lot of fun from week to week.
I just think that it's not a good idea to feature it right before Impact starts because I'm already going into 2 hours of wrestling. I don't want 30, get to it like 30 minutes ahead of time. You know what I mean?
So you think they should not play before the impact?
I don't think they should have before the Impact of the show. I think they should just, if
Fair.
they wanted to do like something like, like AEW Dark, or, they used to have Explosion back in the day. They should just bring Explosion back and just do some squash matches and then like maybe one feature match a week,
I don't hate it. I don't hate that idea. I don't know if I'd watch it anyway, but I'm never gonna watch BTI unless they sucker me into another Iron Man match or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. So the opening video, I gotta say, did you get a chance to watch last week? I know you were on the road, but every week they've been doing a classic TNA like old school intros. And so this week they did the Cross the Line song. That was cool.
They did. We've been calling for the end of oh god, we made fun of it for so long I can't remember.
We own the night. Yeah.
Yes. And I was like, what year is this? When I checked, because I was kind of half paying attention when I turned the show. Oh, hello.
Hey, we got an intruder.
Hey, Astro the dog wants to make an appearance on the show.
He just got done licking his butthole and he gave you a kiss right in the mouth.
Yes, he did. If you're a pet owner, if you haven't been French kissed by dog ass tongue, what are you even alive? Like, are you even living?
Are you even a good pet owner? If
do you even
tasted your own dog's butt?
Do you even own a pet if you haven't tasted dog ass inadvertently at least once?
Yeah.
Oh. What are we talking about on this show again?
Talking about the Cross the Line, and
was that like 0607? Was that when
that was 08? 08. Yeah. Okay. They actually tweeted it. They said we were using the 2008 intro this week.
I missed the tweet.
Yeah. So they used it, and much to my dismay, they kept in, like, I don't know why I hated it so much back in the day, but I still hate it to this day when the lead singer, he like breaks down in his, because like it was kind of like new metal rap.
Yeah, so bad.
And he starts to do his rap and he goes, and I'll be doing my thing, and he touches his chest. I always hated that they showed that part, him doing that. It was like him trying to be so cool. He's dressing like Chester Bennington, but nobody cares about him. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like and then he's like touching his chest saying, I'll be doing my thing. And I'm just like, I always hated the part of the song, hated the part of the video where they always zoomed in on him. And every week on Impact, they kept that in. And then this week they went ahead per tradition and kept in the part of the video and part of the song that I hated.
Well, they had to.
Yeah.
Right. If you're going to go with the full gimmick, you gotta commit to the full gimmick. But I concur with you. I was not watching as much Impact in 08, and this might have been a good reason why, because I was immediately like, oh my god, do I hate this intro song. It's so bad.
Yeah. The only part of the song I hate is that part. The rest of it is it's fine for a wrestling song,
I guess, especially because in the era, is that when we had Nickelback doing WWE? Was that what it was at the time?
It was probably Nickelback or Rev Theory or somebody like that.
It's all shitty.
Yeah.
I actually think we're in a better place now with music on wrestling shows, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
the odds were just awful.
Yes. Very, very, very bad. Speaking of very, very, very bad, the first match.
Good start. Good segue.
Good segue.
Really good segue.
Rosemary defeated Tennille Dashwood. It wasn't that bad. It just wasn't
that
very
good.
Yeah, it wasn't very good. Pretty clunky. They couldn't have less chemistry in the match. And then after the match, so Rosemary beats Tennille, right? And then after the match, the Influence began to lay the beat down on Rosemary before she was saved by a familiar face in Taya Valkyrie. Valkyrie cleared the ring and it became a stare down between the two former best friends. What they left out of this is how long it took Taya to get down there to the ring. She was
my God.
moving like molasses.
I don't know if her boots were just too damn big, but she was like the slowest.
Something was too damn big, and I think she was having trouble holding on to him.
No comment. It was like Jeff Hardy waiting to do his dance before coming out to save his brother from certain death.
Yeah.
But Taya was just moving through sludge, trying to get to the ring.
Yeah, and then she shows up in the ring, and I don't know if she knows that she has two hands and can throw punches from either arm, but she just kept throwing the same slow punch with the same arm, and they just kept running into it. It was like, it was like Bill Watts in 1983 when Midnight Express
was just bumping left and right down.
Yeah. Just without the heat.
Nowhere near that good though. Nowhere near that good. Like I'm like disappointed you. I get the comparison, but that's a terrible comparison.
Bill Watts and Junkyard Dog versus the Midnight Express was incredibly over and had tons of heat.
Just compared Madison Rayne and Tennille Dashwood to the Midnight Express.
That's not exactly what I was doing, but
and Taya is. I don't know. The thing that Taya's Bill Watts is hilarious to me, and I'll let it go. But that one, the Influence in the Midnight Express, Jim Cornette's sitting in his grave, and he's not even dead yet.
Yeah. Hey, JD, can I ask you a question?
Well, please.
So you set up the StreamYard this week, right?
I did. What did I do wrong?
I don't think you did anything wrong, but I think we're live on YouTube right now.
How is that possible? I don't even know how to do that.
You put us live on YouTube. We're live on YouTube. I'm going to tweet this out.
Okay.
I literally just found out because I got a notification on my phone from Fight Game Media saying we're live, pal. We're live on YouTube.
We are?
Yeah. Hey, let's just roll with it.
Sorry, Garrett.
Garrett's asleep. Yeah, Garrett's watching basketball anyway, so we'll just make up our own rules.
We're lying. One day I'll learn how to get this thing right, and things will go better.
Here, talk amongst yourselves. I'm going to tweet this out because now that we're live on, we might as well invite people.
Yeah. Hey, we're here. So like I was saying, this segment was terrible and was everything. What part of what I hate? I like Rosemary in theory, but everything she does in the show makes me go, ugh. Yeah. Right? It just, and I don't dislike her as a talent. I think she's good. I think she's underrated actually. Like
I really like Rosemary.
Yeah, they acted when she won today, they acted like it was this gigantic upset. And I'm like, what? Rosemary's fine. Like, it's just everything surrounding it. I hate all of it. And I'm wasting time waiting for Mike to get done tweeting.
Sorry.
This inadvertent broadcast that we're running.
Yeah.
I thought we were recording.
Yeah. Feel free to tweet amongst yourself, JD. But yeah, we're definitely live. And I just found out that we're live. And I think we've been live for exactly 13 minutes. So,
awesome.
Next, we saw a promo featuring the Good Brothers in Sandy Fork, Delaware, at the chicken farm of the Briscoes. I gotta say, I'm typically not into stuff like this. I loved this. It's very entertaining. Gallows and Anderson running down the farm until Papa Briscoe showed up. Well, okay, so they rolled up on Papa Briscoe. So Papa Briscoe didn't just show up out of nowhere. He happened to be working on the farm, and they confronted Papa Briscoe. And Papa Briscoe said something that you would typically hear, like whenever I lived in Missouri, whenever you were about to confront somebody, like they literally would say this: "Well, you better pack a lunch." And Papa Briscoe said that and that popped me big time. So that was pretty funny. And then of course the Briscoes showed up with Jay Briscoe on the back of a pickup truck carrying a big old pole and swung it at them, and they had a big old fight there on the chicken farm. Really fun segment, good stuff here between these guys, and I'm actually now looking much forward to their match at Slammiversary.
That's right. Jay Briscoe swung his big old pole at the Good Brothers.
Yeah, he sure did.
This segment ruled. Like this is unique. This is like the good stuff of Impact. This reminded me of like the glory days of Matt and Jeff Hardy, right?
Yeah.
The stuff on the farm. I quite enjoyed this. I thought it was great.
Reminded me of gorgeous Jimmy Garvin at the Von Erichs farm, huh?
Very accurate.
80s, baby.
Very accurate too. Like this was fun. And the Good Brothers interact. I'm not sure if that was Mark or Jay's young child that they were working over, but when old Carl picked up the kid and kicked over his big wheel, I could not stop laughing. Like,
yeah. And there's another good line that had me cracking up. They were in the chicken stables, and he goes, "Oh man, this place smells like a Tama Tonga match," and that popped me too. So that was pretty good.
Yeah, they're hilarious. Like I
Yeah.
cannot say enough good stuff about this segment in particular.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I was not very excited for Good Brothers versus Briscoes. I think it's just because, like, I booked something else in my head, and that was the Briscoes versus the Motor City Machine Guns for Slammiversary. I wanted the greatest team in Ring of Honor history versus the greatest team, arguably, in Impact history to collide at the 20th anniversary. I didn't get that, so I was disappointed with the matchmaking at first, but I think it's going to be a great match. So
It'll be fine. It'll work out. They got the Guns doing this 10-man, which, boy, I don't like where this is going.
you know what? I disagree, and we'll get more to that.
Okay.
Coming up. We'll brace for debate. Backstage, we saw Gia Miller with Heath. Miller, who's asking Heath, and I think Heath's real last name is Miller, so that confused me for a second. Miller asked Miller about Rhino, and Heath stated that Rhino is scheduled for surgery, and it could be months before he's back. And Heath then stated that he's going after Honor No More before Slammiversary on his own. So he was foreshadowing his attack there. What do you think of old Heath here in this segment?
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah,
I mean, like, I don't know what to say. I mean, like, I'm not a Heath fan. I don't find him to be an interesting character, and no matter what company he's in, I don't know. It doesn't do it for me.
Yeah, didn't do much for me. I think they were trying to position him as kind of a badass, and that didn't work for me. So, more on that later. So this next match, I think we got a graphic for this next match. If you want to cue it up, JD, it's a Steve Macklin and PCO, and my God, was this match insane. This was complete madness, total mayhem from Mr. Mayhem, Steve Macklin himself. And PCO is a monster, man. This guy is a wild man. So JD, you were off last week. What do you think of PCO's entrance theme song and his whole entrance, the French Canadian Frankenstein? What do you think of that?
It's PCO. It's PCO and Impact. So I can't. What else could I expect? But this straight up Frankenstein stuff. No, it's fine. The only thing I'm missing from the act is that D Destro. I think that if he was with this, it would complete the gimmick over here. It's fine. Right. I quite enjoy it.
Yeah. I really enjoyed it, and this was just insane action from the very beginning. Both men were looking to gain the advantage. PCO was able to capitalize first, nailing Macklin with a clothesline over the top rope, followed by a suicide dive, and then a cannonball to the outside, busting open his lips. So his cannonball, his feet got caught on the ropes, and he landed right on his face. And I think at that point, that's where he dislocated his collarbone. That was just incredible. Really, really insane. And then he followed up with a PCO assault, but Macklin was able to get up in time and nailed PCO with a suicide dive of his own, followed by a massive spine buster onto the entrance ramp. And then Macklin sent bloodied PCO to the ring post, and then back inside the ring, PCO nailed the clothesline before he hit it up to the top rope once again. Macklin caught him and nailed a superplex on PCO for only a 2 count, and this superplex was very good. It was a very cool spot, man. I jumped out of my seat with that one. And then as Macklin wondered what was next, PCO was back on his feet and hit Macklin with another clothesline before landing a running cannonball, and then nailed a de-animator, which was insane. And if it wasn't enough for PCO, he looked to hit another running cannonball on the outside, but Macklin moved in time, and PCO landed hard into the ring steps. Macklin followed it up with a crosshair. So this was he put him in the tree of woe on the guardrail and then ran down and hit him with the crosshairs, and that was sick. Just a crazy spot right there. Macklin refused to toss PCO back to the ring and trap PCO's right shoulder between the ring steps before charging the steps, dislocating PCO's shoulder. PCO refused medical treatment, and he takes off his top, and you could see that his collarbone is dislocated. And then before Macklin could celebrate any sort of so Macklin nailed PCO with a DDT onto a chair to score the victory over a very bloody PCO. Just an insane, crazy match. I loved this match. What did you think?
This ruled. I think I messaged you in the middle of the match. I'm like, this is awesome. Like I could not believe how crazy this was, and just the visual of the blood pouring out of PCO's mouth. It was fantastic. I mean, it's so fitting for the character too. And then at the end, like, I'm not sure if he's one of these dudes, if PCO specifically is one of these dudes that can dislocate his elbow or sorry, his shoulder,
Yeah,
or if something actually happened and he was just working through it. I mean, or what? Like whatever it
they
was great. It
yeah
looked
they made
fantastic.
it a focal point of the match. They kept
Yes.
zooming in on it, and PCO kept showing it off. It made me think that this was like a Detective Riggs from Lethal
That's
Weapon
what I
2.
thought too.
You
That's
know
what
what I
I
mean?
thought too. Yeah, when he's
Yeah.
whatever it was one of the gnarliest things I've ever seen in a wrestling match because it's his bone, it's his shoulder bone just sticking up. I mean, like the visual is incredible. Like, oh man, I bit too. I'm like,
Oh
oh
yeah.
man, PCO's hurt. This is
Yeah.
bad. And then he's beating up the security guards, and I'm like, oh, this is
Yeah.
great. This
Yeah,
is
it was definitely a part of the match because the security guards were clearly local wrestlers, right?
mhm.
They were
It was just, and I can't all the crazy spots, the cannonballs, like I said, the tree of woe to the barricade. Like this was just crazy. I loved it, man.
it
I PCO is such a perfect fit in this company, and boy, Macklin has turned out to be one of the better Macklin is one of the better underrated brawlers in the world, to be honest with you.
I think he is primed and ready for that main event spot. I think him and Josh Alexander need to headline. Maybe not Bound for Glory, but one of the monthly specials. I think it has to happen this year. He's completely ready, and this was just another step in that direction for him.
No, I agree, and we're gonna need someone after this Eric Young feud is over with, and I would like to see some new blood introduced in the main event scene. So I think Macklin is perfect. I wish we'd have built him stronger coming up, but I think this can, if we go over PC, he went over PCO strong tonight. If we can continue this, because I assume the feud isn't dead as of
Yeah,
yet, because nothing is dead with PCO. That's the gimmick.
that's
So
it.
I just, I hope we keep Macklin looking strong because I do think the guy's got something. I really do.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. Before Macklin could celebrate any sort of victory, down and out, PCO grabbed his leg and proved he wasn't human, so he came back. And then we went to the flashback moment of the week, featuring Samoa Joe retaining the heavyweight championship at Slammiversary 6. I think this was in 2008, I want to say. Yeah, 2008. So there you go.
To coincide with the show. Hey, Kevin Nash moved pretty quick and didn't blow out a quad. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, kudos to Kevin Nash for not getting hurt for once. So there you go.
8 years, was it 13 years ago? Something like that.
Yeah. Then we go backstage. Peraza was being called out by Tasha Steeles and Savannah Evans. Steeles and Evans stated that Peraza needed their help. As Peraza stated, she didn't need it while telling Steeles that she had something that belonged to her. And as Steeles and Evans walked away, Chelsea Green came to the side of Peraza, and she's trying to form an alliance there with her old friend, Deonna Peraza. So Chelsea Green kind of working Peraza here as we head into this Queen of the Mountain match at Slammiversary.
Chelsea Green, the master manipulator, the grand chess player that we all know that she is.
Yeah.
Pulling the strings. Chelsea Green. It's whatever. It's fine.
Yeah, it's whatever.
What do you think of the King/Queen of the Mountain match?
So I thought that they needed to bring back the King of the Mountain for the 20th anniversary special. Not because it's a good match, but because it's a spectacle that a lot of people, especially the TNA hardcores, and this show is very much geared to the few TNA hardcores that are left, right? And so I felt like it was necessary to bring back the match, and they've never done it with women before, so I like that idea. I'm curious to see what they come up with the match. I always felt like that the King of the Mountain was just a convoluted mess. I think out of all of them, there might have been maybe one or two that I actually thought were pretty good matches, but the rest of them were just like way over the top, overdone. Memphis meets Vince Russo meets whatever.
Well,
yeah, which is what it was.
That's TNA.
Yeah, which was TNA for a long time. So Jeff Jarrett just did a podcast on the very first King of the Mountain match. And I remember that one being pretty good. And then there was another one, oh God, in like the mid 2000s that I thought was pretty good. Other than that, I always thought they were a convoluted mess.
Did you enjoy the one we watched today, the 2008 King of the Mountain match?
You know what? I think that's probably the one that I enjoyed. I
never saw that one. That's why I'm asking. No.
It's probably that one because I was such a Samoa Joe fan, and the fact that he won helped me enjoy the match more. But they were all a big time mess.
Yeah, it seems like a clusterfuck. The idea of climbing the ladder to put the belt back on is, I don't know. What am I going to say about the King of the Mountain match that hasn't already been said?
Yeah. Yeah. Official Lil Silver from YouTube, because we're accidentally live on YouTube, folks. He said the 2008 King of the Mountain match was really good. He's popping in the comments. So
I'll take.
thanks
Thank you.
for watching. We
Thank you
have
for thank you for watching our inadvertent broadcast tonight. And I will make time to watch the King of the Mountain match just because you said that.
Yeah. He said it was very good, and I think I remember it being really good. So
Garrett's gonna kill me. So let's
yeah.
keep having fun.
This could be our last episode. We're getting fired
It's
for accidentally going live on YouTube.
Possible. Wonder if
Yeah,
FIFO needs another crew.
So we go to the next match. We got Big Joe Doring, who in fact has not been pinned or submitted in 2 years since he has been in Impact, which I don't know how they've gotten away from actually pinning this guy. And that trend continued this week as he defeated the world heavyweight champion by disqualification. It was kind of a chicken shit DQ. Before, without getting into the full play-by-play, what did you think of this match? And then what do you think of the finish here with Alexander getting DQ'd?
Well, it's not terribly hard to not pin Joe Doring. We got to think about it. He didn't wrestle a lot of matches for the good first year he was in the company.
Yeah.
Right. He spent a good chunk. If you ever watch his stuff from All Japan, it was really good. And he spent a good chunk of the remainder of his career kind of beat up, but he's just feeling good within the last year. So I kind of get that. And plus, Diener's right there. Right? That's Diener's job in the team. He takes all the pins. So I get it. But that's why this is good, because you got a big monster you've protected for 2 years. And this it is. It's amazing when you have these giant monsters that you can protect, and you can say hasn't been beaten in 2 years. You can go, wow, there's something here.
Yeah.
It's incredible when you actually stick to the format of pro wrestling. And speaking of sticking to the format of pro wrestling, this was a 1989 WWF house show finish.
Yes. They did the quick DQ. So I thought the match was good, and I have been looking forward to these guys getting in the ring for a long time. So I am disappointed with the finish because it was a DQ. But what I think what did get me excited about it is I think they might be leading to another match between these two guys. I think eventually we're gonna get Doring, and we're gonna get Josh Alexander in one of these Impact Plus specials, maybe even in Center Stage coming up at Atlanta here pretty soon on July 1st. So that's why I wasn't too bothered by it. I'm like, okay, maybe we're gonna get this match eventually. But overall, I did like the match, even though I was disappointed with the finish.
Yeah, the match was fine. I just think they have really good chemistry. I'd like to see like a real legit match between the two of them. Joe Doring's running cross body is fantastic. Like, there's good stuff here.
Yeah, he looked really good, and he can come way across. So for the few people that are watching on YouTube, JD's dog has infiltrated the show this week.
My dog just pulled one of my books off the shelf and chewed it up.
Oh, no.
This is what the fun you have of having a puppy, and your wife says, well, you have to take care of him at night while I'm sleeping.
Yeah.
So, lucky me.
Well, we still love the puppy, even though he feels like JD's shoes and his books are delicious. So
he ate my wife's shoes too the other day. We have, you got a puppy. These are the things that happen.
Yeah, I didn't post it on social media, but my dog has got a cone of shame right now because she just had surgery. She had a tumor removed from her stomach. Ooh. So yeah, she's downstairs. She's a little bit passed out. So our laundry room is like the size of most human beings' bedrooms, and so we had to put her in there like on the cone so that way she doesn't open up her stitches, and she's got a whole area down there. So that's where she's at right now, or else she'd be up here bothering me this week too.
Sorry for the dog shenanigans. Let's continue.
It's all good. We're not used to being live, so this stuff we could edit this out, but we're live, pal.
No, he's Little Silver. No, he is housebroken. He was great about that. He just chews on everything.
Yeah. So we go backstage. Jim Miller's was with Moose. Moose stated he wasn't afraid of Callahan, and then the lights started flickering. I guess they need to pay the electric bill there. Moose stated he was going to find Callahan and put an end to this, and then that was whatever. But highlights were then shown of Ace Austin officially joining the Bullet Club on the final night of the Best of the Super Junior 29. So this news broke just after we got off the air last week with me and Josiah. So we didn't actually get to cover it last week. So we'll just talk about it now, man. What do you think of Ace Austin joining the Bullet Club?
It's a good pick. It's a good move. It's weird that they're adding another junior to the stable, but sure. I mean, I guess this is a Scott D'Amore favor, I guess.
Yeah.
So this is what he wanted, and I think it helps. I think it helps bridge the gap with Impact and New Japan a little bit more to have an official Bullet Club member that's going to be here full time. And we got Bay already, but what's one more?
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't know what the status of Bay's contract. I don't know how long he's signed for, but we know and Bay been dropping a lot of L's. I'm not saying he's leaving. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying been dropping a lot of L's lately. And him and Jay White are wrestling the Briscoes next week. I don't think they're winning, although I have not seen the spoiler on that. I just prediction. So I don't know what the status of Bay is in the Bullet Club or with Impact. So that was my first thing. It's like, do we really need a new member? Well, you know what? We don't know what's happening with the Good Brothers. Their contracts are expiring soon. They could be gone. And Jay White, he's not going to be around for a little while. He finished up with Impact. He's going full-time New Japan. So I think Ace Austin could keep the Bullet Club brand alive here in Impact. And I think now that he's done the Super Junior and he's exposed himself to a new audience, I think he comes back. He sticks with the X Division title for a little bit, but they need to push him up to that main event scene. He needs to do a headlining act with Josh Alexander for the world title soon.
Maybe I could see that. I think he's just come back. This is like old school, right? You go to Japan, you come back with a lot more credibility.
Yeah.
Right. And he got over in Japan, and you could tell the office in New Japan really believes in him. And they very rarely just get like behind a Gaijin talent like this. And apparently they did an angle with Alex Zane. Right.
Yeah.
And I liked it. It was good. Now it looks like, I don't know if Alex is going to be more Impact or more New Japan Strong or New Japan proper, but I like where we're headed with this. Like, and then gets him into the X Division match too. So
so Austin and Zane were like kind of a pair there in New Japan. They were all buddy, and they had a match with which Austin won, and Austin ends up turning on him, and now Alex Zane is in the Ultimate X match. So that's pretty cool.
Very cool.
Yep. Next, so backstage, Moose is on the hunt for Sami Callihan. Callihan was ready for him, but missed an attack. This is where all the music and the eerie stuff comes in. And then a brawl ensued between the two men. But as Moose was able to bloody Callihan up, Sami escaped, and Moose found himself locked in a room. So Sami chicken shit and snuck out the door and locked Moose in the room by himself. And Moose is all pissed about it. I'm not into the Sami Callihan Moose feud. I'll be honest. I think it's going to be a very good match, but I'm not into the feud right now.
Why are wrestlers scared of the lights being off? Like, why are they like like they're like 5-year-olds? Like the lights go off and they're all like, they lose their mind. It's like if you play a song for them, if you play a song in an inadvertent moment, they're always, and not just an Impact, but this is a cross wrestling. It's such a stupid trope. Like, oh my God, I hear someone else's entrance music. I can't pay attention to what's going on. Or, oh, sweet Jesus, the lights are off. I don't know what to do. Like, I don't understand. It's a trope. I get it. It's a trope, but it's a real stupid trope that like whenever the lights go off, we have to act scared. Like, I'm sorry, WWF from 1984 has ruined people's brains.
I don't quite get it, but like I said, the feud makes sense. I mean, Moose did break the guy's leg and he's back. So
yes, I know the WWE suit when the Undertaker came out. It's stupid.
yeah, that's why he's saying it ruined people's brains. So it's not written up here in this Observer breakdown that I'm reading, but out of nowhere, do you remember Matt Morgan just shows up out of nowhere?
God,
what
yes.
happened? Like,
oh Lord, another wrestling politician, and this guy that everybody I mean, like, is he going to be the extra original put in? That's my fear right now.
No.
It's like,
no, he's not. God. So they went out of their way to state that Matt Morgan was not in the match. And said he is no longer an active competitor, so they will have to find somebody else. That's what they said. This was a cameo appearance.
Oh, thank God, because he sucks. Like, how many? He's another one of the long list of giant people. Whoever's that guy's gonna make money that never makes any money. Like, do huge people actually draw money in wrestling, or is this just another thing we've convinced ourselves is reality? Because there's a long trail of big dead bodies, not real dead bodies, dead career bodies that like didn't do anything, right?
Well, it's because those guys get more of an opportunity than the smaller guys, at least in the WWE system, and then there for a little bit in TNA too. Like, he got so many more opportunities that he just didn't deserve because he didn't have the talent to back it up. And it's because he was giant, he's handsome as shit, and he's very athletic, right? He's a football player or whatever he is. And he kept getting opportunity after opportunity, and he never made it. because he was trying to coast on his athleticism and his look, and he never really developed the skills necessary to be a top guy, nor the charisma. He never had the charisma to be a top guy. And he had this stupid blueprint catchphrase that he tried to use there. I don't know. I thought he was more interesting in WWE when he was doing the stutter. That's just me.
And that's how much faith they had him too. You had this big, like Jim Cornette said, "Oh, I got this big guy who can make you a ton of money," but then he goes anywhere else and never makes a dime.
Yeah,
like
well, he came to TNA with Jim Cornette, and he still never drew.
No, because he's not good. I'm glad it's going away where people make the assumption that oh man, he's big, he should wrestle, he'll do great, and nobody cares if you're big. Like Andre, it was cool 40 years ago because he was a monster, but he was actually good and compelling. Like that's true. If you watch like the stuff from before Andre was a shell of his former self, it's not. And if you watch The Princess Bride, and you just see the charisma that the man had, you get why he was a star. Like I don't know, man. This is I saw Matt Morgan and my brain immediately went to, oh dear God, they're going to use Matt Morgan to something.
yeah, so did I. When it was brought up in the Brace for Impact chat,
that's what got me afraid that Matt Morgan was there. Yeah,
dude, I thought it was a joke. I thought they were messing with me, and then I saw him. He just showed up on the TV. And I was like, he's actually there. What are they? Well, but they were in Orlando, which is kind of he's like the mayor of one of those bumblefuck towns in that county. So, let's see. A promo aired with an injured Matt Cardona. He passed on. He bestowed the digital media title, or maybe they should call it the all digital media title, the all Pacific title. I don't know what we're calling it now. To Brian Myers. And then Myers challenged Rich Swann to a match at Slammiversary to determine the real champion. So, JD, you were out last week. So at a Pro Wrestling Revolver event, Rich Swann beat Matt Cardona for the title, but Cardona stole the title because they were Cardona couldn't come to the Impact tapings that were taped like a few weeks prior to that event. So Rich Swann was defending the title without the actual belt. That's how they explained it away. And Matt Cardona now is injured. He's not going to get to do his match with Rich Swann at Slammiversary. So he gave the title to Brian Myers. Now Brian Myers will be facing Rich Swann. So catch everybody up to speed there. So that's what's going on there.
Cool. So this title that we've said is not a real title since they introduced it. Rich Swann is officially the champion, but now
Cardona stole the belt.
And so I'm going to guess it's just to finish the angle because I'm going to guess that's the last we see of Cardona, right? And Impact.
Well, so he was advertised for all the events in July, but now he's hurt. He's out the rest of the year. He's out 6 months, right? So, and I don't think we've seen the last of him because he's not going to AEW. He might go to WWE when he gets back, but I think he rehabs and then I think Impact continues to use him without a contract.
Yeah, I mean that's again we're a pro Cardona podcast. I really think they underutilized him the time they had him, like because he got so hot in GCW and on the Indies that I really think they could have done. I mean, like the Digital Media Championship isn't doing anything with someone. Like I don't know, man. I think that I think it sucks because he really finally figured it out, and he was in probably the best 15-month stretch of his entire career.
Yeah,
right. And now he's going to be on the shelf. What did he hurt again? Where's he injured?
His bicep. He hurt his bicep at a GCW show with Blake Christian. Yeah,
man, that injury bug has gone crazy in professional wrestling right now.
Yeah,
like, it's awful. But yeah, I think it's a bummer. And I think Cardona should come back and challenge Rich Swann. Should challenge Josh for the title. If Josh is still, I'm assuming Josh is still going to be the guy in this company.
Yeah, me too.
So I think that they could do something with him doing his whole sports entertainer type gimmick that we really just scratched the surface of. It's a shame.
Yeah, we really did just scratch the surface. We finally got heel Cardona, but then he's booked so many other places. It's hard to make sure that you got dates on him, and I don't think they have priority on him.
Pay him.
So yeah, so they have to give him the money so he will make them his priority, right?
Well, that's
right now they're not doing that, so he is doing NWA, GCW, Wrestling Revolver, all these other places he's going to
because he's proven to be a draw on the Indies.
Yeah.
Right? Like he's proven himself to be a draw. Like he's far more interesting than a lot of people we are kind of behind in this company at the moment, and he matters. Like he legitimately sells tickets and pay-per-views, right? I never thought I'd say this, but he in his 2.5 years now 2 years away from WWE has finally kind of lived up to the promise that he showed in 2011, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know about him tweeting about how he got, sometimes I don't know when Cardona's being in character and when he's being real. Like some of the series of tweets he put out says, I didn't complain. I just got better. I don't know if he's trying to just do the parrot the W.
I didn't complain. I got better and got fired.
I mean, yeah, that's things. I don't know if he's parroting the speak because that's part of the gimmick or because he believes it. You know, I don't know. I guess it's part of the fun of Matt Cardona's. I don't know what's real and what's gimmick with the guy sometimes.
Yeah. So Hannafin announced that next week we'll see Trey Miguel versus Mike Bailey. Should be awesome. Tasha Steeles and Savannah Evans versus Grace and Mia Yim, and the Briscoes versus Jay White and Chris Bay, which also should be awesome.
That should rule.
That should rule. And now we get to the main event, and this is Eddie Edwards, Matt Taven, and Mike Bennett versus Frankie Kazarian and the Motor City Machine Guns. And you put these 6 people, and there is a 0% chance that this match would be anything other than awesome. And that's exactly what we got. Just an incredible match for the entire time. The Honor No More got the victory. So Honor No More, they're back inside the ring. Saban is getting triple teamed by Honor No More, but wouldn't give up after getting hit with the Tiger Driver by Edwards and a running kick by Taven. Seeing the Saban wouldn't give up. Kazarian and Shelley were able to switch momentum for the Impact Originals, but Honor No More wouldn't give in either. Saban nailed Edwards with a tornado DDT, but Taven managed to break up the pin attempt. Both teams began hitting their finishers when Saban set up Edwards for the cradle shock. Bennett nailed him with a low blow. Edwards capitalized with the Die Hard Driver for the victory while gaining huge momentum just 10 days away from Slammiversary. So we got the big 10-man tag match with Honor No More taking on Kazarian, the Motor City Machine Guns, and 2 mystery opponents. So last week, Josiah and myself gave our predictions for the 2 mystery opponents. I predicted that it's going to be America's Most Wanted, a reunion there, James Storm and Chris Harris. Who are you predicting? Are we getting pessimist JD or optimist JD? What do we got here?
I'm not sure. In a perfect world, you would get Christopher Daniels and AJ Styles.
Yeah. But
I think we can get half of that. I think Christopher Daniels is realistic.
Yeah. I could see. So the other one was Christopher Daniels and James Storm if Chris Harris probably can't wrestle. So
what about Christopher Daniels and Samoa Joe?
I mean, I don't see why not. I think
possible.
It's possible because the relationship with AEW seems to be pretty good right now.
Fine. I'd say fine.
Yeah. So last week, Jack Evans is in the Ultimate X match, right? So Jack Evans has been released, or not released, but contract expired with AEW. He's a free agent. Now they're bringing him into Impact. He's in the Ultimate X match. And to promote Jack Evans's return to Impact, they used AEW footage on the show last week. So, and then Kazarian, of course, is on the show this week as kind of a make good for the Morrissey and Peraza stuff on AEW. So yeah, I don't, it's the 20th anniversary. I don't see any reason why we couldn't have some of those guys that have rich TNA roots on this 20th anniversary show that work for AEW.
AMW is an interesting call, but we had James Storm. I think did he come back last year or was it 2 years ago? It was 2 years ago. He
was around last year when we first started the podcast.
Okay, yeah. I couldn't remember. I know we had that appearance, but I almost called him Braden Walker. I know we had that appearance by Chris Harris.
Chris Harris appeared last week too, sir.
Oh, did he? I missed the show last week, so I'll take your word for it.
Yep.
He hasn't been working a whole lot, though.
He hasn't been working at all.
At all, right? He retired like a decade ago, right?
He did, yeah. And I, without sounding mean or a little derogatory, when he was on the show last week, it didn't seem like he was ready for a match physically. If you catch my drift. So.
He looked really old the last time I saw him. And Cowboy looks great still,
Oh yeah, Cowboy looks amazing.
He could still go. Ooh, what if we get Aldous? Right? Get Magnus back.
Yeah, that sounds great.
So I first was at EC3. I'm like, have you watched EC3 wrestle a match lately? I don't think you want to make that call.
No. Yeah. I could see like guys like EC3 and some of the other folks with TNA roots that are out there making cameo appearances, but actually physically in the match. I think I'm going to go with, I think I changed my official prediction. This is on the books. We're going to get it written down. James Storm, because you got to have James Storm. It's in Nashville and it's 20th anniversary.
I buy that.
He's had over 1,000 matches at Impact. You got to have him, right? And then I think Christopher Daniels being the other guy. And then we get Bad Influence returning.
Yeah, that's what I see too, because like they've had it's one of the most storied. It's one of the most storied tag teams that's never had a WWE run. I put them up with the Guns, right?
Yeah.
because they had a great run in TNA, they had a great run in Ring of Honor. They're the first AEW tag champs, right? Or they're part of it, like with that
They,
3-man.
it was SCU, yeah, but with Scorpio Sky. So
He's all part of that's all part of the same thing. They're free
yeah,
birds basically. So yeah, I mean, like I think that makes perfect sense, right? To go with them. Again, perfect world, you get AJ back, but it's not a
yeah.
perfect world.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think that's going to happen. You know what? But it wouldn't surprise me if WWE let AJ do like a phone video recording and send it in saying congrats on 20 years and stuff like that. I think we could probably get something like that from AJ and
Does
Jeff
AJ
Jarrett.
want to? Is the real question, right? Because you hear AJ talk about his times at TNA sometimes, not in glowing terms.
Well, yeah, they did him dirty on the way out, but that
They
was a
really did.
different regime, and I
It
think that
is.
he's probably still pretty friendly with Scott D'Amore.
Yeah, I can see that.
And I think that it's not really about the company more so is it about the people that have supported, Impact and TNA for 20 years. And he is probably the guy that embodied TNA,
Absolutely.
for the most part, right? It'd be him and Jeff Jarrett would be like the two guys. When you think of TNA, you think of AJ Styles and Jeff Jarrett. Some people would say Kurt Angle, but he's always more like he's my favorite, probably my favorite wrestler of all time, and he's probably the best wrestler in TNA history. That's arguable, but
he's a WWE
guy. Yeah.
And Jarrett, it would be nice if they could do because Jarrett just runs live events.
Yeah.
Which is funny because TNA really didn't run live events. They didn't do really house shows. It's really ironic, actually.
Yeah.
That's Jarrett's job. But I mean, it'd be really nice if they could let Jeff do something because like it's still his he still started the company.
Right.
It'd be nice to have him on especially now that we have kind of a renaissance of Jeff Jarrett a little bit thanks to Conrad Thompson. Like it'd be nice if Jeff could come back and do something. That being said, I don't see Vince or Nick Khan letting that happen. Jesus, he's firing his own daughter lately.
Yeah, that place is in such disarray. So we'll go to the end here. Honor No More decided that instead of celebrating, a further beatdown was needed, but before they could do too much damage, Stone Cold Heath Austin hit the ring with a chair and cleaned house before attempting to break Edwards' neck. The remaining members of Honor No More hit the ring, and the numbers game was too much, and they locked Heath's ankle, and they Pillmanized him several times. And then we went off the air with Honor No More celebrating. So that tells me that the good news is Heath will not be in that match.
God, that was my first thought when he ran out there. I was like, oh my Lord, they're going to put Heath in the match.
Yeah. And when you alluded to not being thinking that the 10-man tag might be bad, I was like, I figure you're alluding to Heath being in the match. I don't think he's actually in the match. So
Lil Silver says WWE owes Impact for letting Mickie James appear at the Royal Rumble. I got news for you. WWE thinks they paid Impact back by letting her in the Royal Rumble and mentioning Impact. That's more than they've ever get.
And then shortly after that, they got their biggest rating of the year. So
and he also responds to that. Sorry, we're getting chats. I'm gonna read them.
One day we'll learn how to put these comments on the screen. I just don't know how to do it.
If we were prepared, we could have. According to Jeff Jarrett, AJ Styles was going to re-sign with Impact, and y'all can look that up. The Dixie. Look, so here's what I remember when this happened.
I heard that on the podcast today, by the way.
It did. It was on Jarrett's podcast. But I remember when this happened in 2016, AJ and the Good Brothers signed deal memos to come back to TNA. But then they got, I believe what the deal was, is they immediately kind of backtracked on the amount of money they were going to pay them.
Yeah.
And AJ is like, oh, we're going to have more of this again. I'm going to WWE. And he took the Good Brothers with him, and they signed him to get AJ. And you can tell by the way old Doc and Carl were pushed. So AJ was planning on coming back, but from the sounds of it, because remember AJ even talked about this too when he first came to WWE, was like they were going. And remember, if you remember Dixie's crew, this is just before Dixie sold the company. Like this is about a year before Dixie sold the company. So they put out these press releases saying, yeah, we had a deal memo with them. And they were like kind of threatening a lawsuit, but more just putting it out there to make themselves sound better than actually having anything legal. Cause a deal memo isn't a contract. That's a deal memo is like, we signed to maybe sign a contract. It's not, It's not real. Yeah. I remember about 6 years ago when that was all going to go down, but nothing came from it. And that was, actually, 2016 was actually a pretty decent year in TNA. That last year, that was when we got Broken Matt and all that. That was actually, and Galloway and EC3. Yeah, that was actually a good year. Come to think of it.
Yeah, very, very good year. Well, hey, that's going to do it for us on the free version. So if you're watching live, typically at this point we switch over to the Patreon version. But because we're accidentally live on YouTube, those of you watching, you're just going to get the premium content for free, guys.
And this is why we're gonna get fired.
This is why we're getting fired, because we're accidentally live. So if you want this kind of content that we're about to give you, so where we break down the news and all things going on in Impact, head over to patreon.com/fightgamemedia and join our subscription service called Fight Game Media Plus. It's just $5 a month, everybody. So $5 a month. And so Patreon, stick around. All right, Patreon. The Sportster, this kid, Patrick Coyle Simmons.
Who is this guy?
He's just a guy. But he was very nice to me on Reddit. I posted this article on Reddit. He said the top are 10 wrestling free agents that would thrive in Impact Wrestling. It's written by Patrick Coyle Simmons. Jade, if you want to put up the cool logo drop that I sent you, but
I didn't get it. Sorry.
Oh, you didn't get it. Okay, so we don't have the logo drop, so my bad on that. So 10 wrestling free agents that would thrive in Impact Wrestling. I thought it was a pretty interesting article because I didn't even realize that some of these folks were even free agents. And the reason why I think it's so interesting is because Impact just lost Morrissey, so Morrissey's gone, right? The Good Brothers potentially on their way out. They're still in contract negotiations. A deal could always get done, but if the Good Brothers leave, that's a significant amount of money that just opens up. So now, like, they have their salary cap, right? So a significant amount of money just opens up from their salary cap, so they can actually afford to bring in other people. So you got the Good Brothers possibly on the way out. W. Morrissey, Jay White's finishing up. Jonah just recently finished up. I don't know what Chris Bay's status is. Will remains to be seen there. I don't know how long his deal is, but let's just say that there's some spots coming available, and there are free agents out there, interesting free agents. One name I'm just going to shoot down that didn't make the list, and I know that people are going to want to talk about it. Wyndham has, according to Sean Rossap and Fightful Select, Wyndham has straight up shot down any type of contact with Impact. He's not interested in going to Impact, so we're going to strike that one from the record. Okay, so at number 10 is, here we go. Yes, there's the logo. It doesn't cover the whole screen. Good job, Gilbert. Sorry.
Yeah, we tried.
Yeah. So at number 10 is Katrina Cortez. She was an NXT lady. She got moved to the Raw roster. And Katrina Cortez, she's moved back to NXT. So what do you think of Katrina Cortez? Are you familiar with her?
I never watched a single thing she had done in NXT. Because she wasn't even doing NXT. She was doing like NXT Level Up, I think, or 205 Live, or something like that before they cut her. I haven't been paying attention to WWE.
Yeah, so she's a 26-year-old Chilean wrestler, that this guy is saying could fit in for the Knockouts division. So
sure, I'll take his word for it. I've never watched her work.
There you go. Okay, interesting name, Alex Zane, who will actually be at Ultimate X coming in at number 9. What do you think about the prospects of Impact signing Alex Zane?
Oh, I think it's great. I think they should. I said this when he got released the first time, when we thought we did this talk of who we should pick up. Alex Zane's a no-brainer, right? I think New Japan really liked him early in the pandemic, and then he jumped at the chance to go, because I get it, 30-something, this is your shot to go, and it didn't fit, which anyone who knew Alex Zane told you that wasn't going to fit. Yeah. But I think he fits in real well with the X division here. I like that he's already got a built-in feud going with Ace, and he's an anti-Bullet Club, so I can see him as being one of these guys that jumps between Impact and New Japan. That's a guy I think you got to lock down if you can. Yeah.
Nonzo, going under the pseudonym of Chuck Obi, says Alex Zane would be a good pickup. I agree, Nonzo. I agree, buddy. Yeah. So next at number 8 is Nixon Newell. She was struggling to break out during her time in the WWE system. The former Tegan Knox is what she was. She had several injuries there. But what do you think of the prospects of Nixon Newell coming into Impact?
She's super talented. She's got great babyface fire. I think she's really good in the ring. The problem with old Nixon is those knees, man. Yeah. I think she tore. I could be wrong on this. I know she tore at least 2 ACLs. It might have been 3.
Yeah. I don't know how many, but I know that it was pretty bad. And I think that one of her injuries was, somebody said it was like one of the grossest things I've ever seen. Like it was just a terrible, terrible injury, and she never really regained her form. But a lot of people say that she's really good still, and that she has more to contribute, and maybe a lighter schedule would be better for her body. And that's what you would get at Impact. You're working, a couple times a month there.
I'm surprised that no one has tried to grab her as of yet, because she's been on the market for a bit.
Yeah. Here's a very interesting name, and I am all about this one. I like this guy, Biff Busick. Yeah, he's fantastic.
The former Oni Lorcan.
Thank you. I was looking for his name in here, Oni Lorcan, but I liked him.
Hold on, before you go, of all the bad WWE names that have ever been created, and there's some really bad ones. Just watch NXT any given week, and it sounds like villains from an 80s high school movie. Like Oni Lorcan is on another level. Like those aren't even words.
No.
It's level tops. Like it's so ridiculous stuff. Biff Busick is great though. It's the guy they should pick up. He's really good and fun.
Yeah, he's really good, fun. He's got great social media game. I think this is somebody they could bring in and they can get behind him. Interesting name. Probably not as a wrestler, but more as a commentator. But I think we've talked about her before. But Veda Scott coming in at number 6.
Yeah, the AEW did some stuff with Veda when they had their women's tournament that I forget the name of. She did a bunch of stuff with Ring of Honor for a while. Veda's
she called the All Knockout show last year for Impact.
She did. I was at that show, so she did do that. Yep. I like Veda. The problem is where do you use her? Right? We've only got what's that?
Oh, I guess before the Impact, which nobody watches, but yeah, if they do bring back like an explosion type of show, I could see her doing that. Or maybe you bring her in just to give you insight. Like, it's okay to bring in an extra commentator for specific reasons, and you bring her in for some knockout stuff.
So maybe I could see that. Here's the thing though. The one thing I like about Impact more than anybody else is they've kept their booth small, right? We've had a lot of turnover in the booth, but it's a 2-man booth. Right. It's one of the easier right now, especially it's one of the easier listens in pro wrestling because they don't have to like plug a million things. Right. Like Michael Cole is always plugging something, and Excalibur almost dies once a show on Dynamite trying to get in all the plugs and mentions just and then he implodes. So it's really nice. It's really nice to hear Tom and Aiden English. What Raywall? Thank you. I just blanked on his name. Those stupid names. It's nice to hear them just call wrestling. So I don't want to mess up that chemistry that's really pretty good right now. But I like Veda. I wish they could do something with her. I wish someone could do something with her, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, it makes she's. I thought she was pretty good on that knockout show, and I thought she did a really good job with the AEW tournament. Yeah. And, Speedball's there. They just got married. Like, cool. I think it makes all sense in the world to try to find a spot for her. Mm-hmm. Coming in at number 5, former Impact champion, Johnny Elite, Johnny Impact, Johnny Mundo, Johnny whatever the fuck. But Johnny, he has been doing some stuff with All Elite Wrestling, but he wasn't on this week. I don't know if he did any AEW Dark recently, but what do you think about Johnny Impact coming back?
Sure, why not? He's still talented. He's 40-something. He can still go. Looks great. I mean, like, I just we've been there, done that kind of thing with him.
Yeah.
And AEW's kind of used him, let's be real, kind of as a job guy.
Yeah, I think that's the slot that they see him in, and I think he's better. I think he has better upper mobility and Impact, and I think he would be kind of more of a top guy at Impact. But
is that good though for Impact? Is if you bring in this guy as a top guy who you're not a partner promotion, but a promotion you partner with used as a job guy, right? That defines you down a little bit. Like I think if you bring in Johnny Elite or Johnny Impact and have him put a bunch of dudes over, I think that's the move.
Yeah, maybe bring him in on one of those 6-month deals and push him up to put over Josh. He's a former champion, so
you know what? I like that idea. I think you can build a good episode of Impact around that and have Josh take I mean, it'd be really nice actually if Josh could beat a bunch of former champions this year. I think that would help him.
And there's a lot available out there.
Tons.
A lot available. Candace Larae. I guess actually her WWE name was Candace Larae. Sorry, I was looking for a WWE name.
Yeah, she's Candace Larae. That's all.
Yeah, I think she's very good. I think she's very interesting. I think she's All Elite. So,
I I don't know. We've been saying she's still coming off the postpartum stuff. So when I say postpartum, I don't mean postpartum depression. I mean just she gave birth like 3 months ago. Like it takes a while to get back into fighting form and like
Yeah.
ready to go. I mean, I do think because she's got a lot of friends. She's she's in the PWG clique.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I think honestly, I think you could see her in AEW before you see your husband.
Well, he's about to come up, but yeah, I think that AEW's women's roster they like her. She's part of that Young Bucks crew. I think that they pick her up. But if Impact were able to bring her in, look, a lot of like Mia Yim just signed a 6-month deal.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility for them to take a flyer on her, bring her in for a while she builds back up her credibility, and then heads over to AEW.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I think she's better than everyone we have I think her and Deanna would be the top two. I think Candace is awesome.
You think she's that good?
100%. I'd go to my grave saying
I'll be honest, have not seen much of her stuff.
I'm gonna tell you something. Don't watch her indie stuff because it has not aged well because of her former tag team partner. Another former.
I was not a fan of that.
No, because it's terrible. But she was really good at what she did.
I was always at a deficit with me. The Joey Ryan stuff turned me off, and she was a big part of that.
She is.
So
I don't want to get into the whole complicit argument.
No. I'm not saying that.
Yeah, because you don't know. I mean,
yeah.
Who knows what stuff.
Yeah.
But I think Candace is super talented. I think WWE had her doing a lot of stupid shit in the last year of her career and I don't think she ever quite was given the opportunity to do what she was capable of.
Yeah. Coming in at number 3, which I disagree with. I think he should be higher, but Claudio Castagnoli or Cesaro. I think that whatever he wants, you give it to him, you bring him in as a top guy immediately.
I don't think he wants to.
No, I don't think so either. But he is of all the free agents that so far have been named, I think he's not. I don't know that he would be like a significant draw for Impact, but I think that he would make a little bit of a difference for them.
WWE has made sure that nobody is a draw.
Well, of all the people that are free agents right now that could be a draw, that if Impact were to get, that would actually make a dent and make it would move tickets and move pay-per-views and move ratings, it'd be Wyndham, but he's not interested, and they're not going to pay him the money he wants. So, he would be the only guy that's a draw. Nobody else is a draw. I thought Braun Strowman would be a draw in the Indies. Nothing. Hadn't done nothing important.
Their whole business model is to make sure the brand is a draw. And look on Twitter. Yeah. If anytime anyone leaves that company, it's like, yeah, you know what? You were trash anyway. That's just what they are, man. I mean, I like Claudio. I think he's excellent. I think you have great matches. I think you bring him in and have him put over Josh.
Yeah. No. Yeah. That would be fun. Dakota Kai. I think she's another one that's all elite, but if Impact were able to bring her in, I think that she would be significantly improve. I have seen a lot of her stuff, and I think she's fantastic. And
she's really good.
She would significantly improve the Knockouts division for sure.
Yeah, that's something you got to try to move heaven and earth to try to make happen. But I kind of agree with you. I think because the AEW women's division does need a big boost, and they got the money.
They got the money. They can't seem to figure it out though. They keep bringing in all these people and they never really move. Right?
Yeah, but
they just kind of stay stagnant. So they brought in Tony Storm and came in, and everything just stays stagnant with that division. So I don't know what's going on there.
Well, that's the thing is they want to keep that Britt Baker as the guy, is the woman in the Vision and Thunder Rosa. I mean, isn't that what everyone accuses them of us? Oh, you bring in these ex-WWFers, WWEers, and you just push them, which isn't true. That's not what they do. Right. But unfortunately, that's pro wrestling, and they don't, for better or worse. And I'm not a fan of a lot of the women's matches I've seen in AEW, so I don't care to see more of them unless they're involved Thunder Rosa, and even lately that's been a little rough. So.
Yeah.
And you got to keep bringing in talent until it gets better. Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that said, if Impact could get it to work, she's the best talent they have. And I stand by what I said.
Yeah. So coming in at number 1 is Johnny Gargano. I don't think Johnny Gargano is going to AEW. And I think somebody else probably smarter than me said this. AEW already has 6-7 Johnny Garganos on the roster already. I don't think he adds anything to that promotion. I don't think he does anything for them. I don't think he draws money anywhere, and I don't think that he would actually sell a lot of tickets in Impact. But what I think he would do is he would, come in. He's a very good worker, and I think he would bring that talent with him and just have incredible matches. And I think that he would start turning that conversation around and having people talk more positively on the company. And that's why I think that you should go after Johnny Gargano and bring the guy in.
You should go after Johnny Gargano. I don't know what he wants to do in his future. I don't know. I mean, like, you'd think on paper he'd be AEW bound for sure. I am not as big a Gargano fan as a lot of other people are. I don't think he's bad by any stretch of the imagination.
No,
I just always, of that group, I always thought Ciampa was the more intriguing of the two.
me too.
You know, and I don't know. From as an AEW fan, Johnny Gargano doesn't do much to excite me. I'm just gonna be honest with you. Like
he's in segment 3, you know.
Yeah.
But
he's
in Impact,
he's wrestling for the All Atlantic title.
Yeah, that's exactly where you would slot him. In Impact, he could wrestle for the World Heavyweight title pretty quickly and be kind of a guy that you can not build the company around. I think Josh is the guy for that company. But I think that he's right in there. Like you bring him in, he's right in there with Edwards and Callahan and Moose and all those guys, and he's having great matches with every one of them.
Honestly, if I would try to bring Johnny Gargano in, and I think it's going to cost you some money to bring him in.
Yeah.
But you could actually pair him with Josh for a little bit and have him turn on Josh and have a really good series of matches out of it. Because Johnny the way stuff was stupid, but the stuff he was doing earlier with Gargano Ezekiel with Ciampa Ezekiel was much better.
Yeah.
So I think it can work. That's what I would do. But I don't know if he wants that.
Yeah. We got a question here from official Lil Silver. Do y'all think Kenny Omega could come back to Impact Wrestling? The ratings did move when he debuted. Kenny Omega is a guy who is actually a draw. He is a proven draw because of the business jump that Impact went through when he came to the company, getting their best buy rates that they'd had in a decade and some of their best ratings. And then we've seen the ratings, the demo ratings specifically, but the overall ratings a lot have dropped since he left. Could I see him come back? Not full time like he did before, but I could see him come back doing a one-off here and there. But who knows when he's coming back? The guy is going through a lot right now. He's very hurt, and part of the reason why he was so beat up is because he was working everywhere, and maybe AEW might want him to focus on where he's making his most money.
Would it be great to see Kenny back in Impact? Yeah, but at this point, I just want to see him back in AEW at some point. He's doing like some kind of radical cell therapy treatment. Like you see these crazy shots in his knees and his shoulders they might be stem cells. I'm not sure. He had it on his Instagram. It made me nauseous to look at. It was just crazy. He's sketchy on where he's going to come back to right now, physically speaking.
Yeah. But I want to give a shout out to the author of that article again. I thought he did a good job. Oh, my iPad just shut down. But it's from the Sportster, and want to give a big shout out to Patrick Coyle Simmons. He actually gave me an award on Reddit, and I don't know what that means. I don't know what to do with it, but he gave me one. So thank you for that.
Thanks.
Yeah, thanks. So I thought that was a pretty interesting article. So thank you for that, providing some source material for the show. But lots of free agents. He didn't name Braun Strowman. He didn't name Wyndham, which I thought was smart. Didn't bring up EC3. Which I also, because they're doing the CYN stuff and over there. So, but I thought the 10 free agents, one guy he didn't name that I still think is interesting is AJ Francis. I think they should take a shot on him and the whole Hit Row crew. But that's
the Hitmakers. I mean, I would. He's a good talker.
Yeah,
I'm not sure with the rest of them without Swerve, because Swerve is the worker of the group, so he would be the guy to do the wrestling. I don't know. They're performance center trained, so.
Yeah.
If they have a month to rehearse a match 90 times, I think maybe they could have a good one.
Yeah. So
I just buried the PC and you completely ignored me and
sorry.
I'm really disappointed in you.
my bad. Well, MJF likes the PC and maybe he'll be a part of that here pretty soon. So
he'll get to work with all the 12-year-olds or the 20-year-olds who don't know how to wrestle. It'll be awesome. I'm sure he'll have a blast.
Yeah. So earlier this week at Hell in a Cell, did you watch Cody's match with Seth Rollins?
I have to. I was so busy with this wrestling thing because my buddy John Muse texted me during the show, and he's like, "You need to watch this. This is something you have to see." I haven't seen it, but I saw the gnarliest chest I've ever seen in my life, And I just read the reaction, and I dug it, man. I dug what it represented.
I think he made himself the absolute biggest babyface in WWE.
Yes.
And I think he's going to be a top guy there for a long time. Like, and I was iffy about, I figured they would come in, give him some steam, and then he would kind of go back down and they would just push him down the card. I think with that performance against Seth Rollins, I think he's going to stay on that upward trajectory, and he's going to be a top main guy going forward, winning the world heavyweight title. But that's not why I brought that up. So
number 30 in the Royal Rumble, calling it right now, and he's going to
number
win
30 heads to WrestleMania, wins the World Heavyweight Championship. And we got the professional wrestling love story starring Cody Rhodes and the Rhodes family. I'm all about that.
It'll be perfect.
Big Cody Rhodes fan.
Mm-hmm.
But here I got a tweet here from JD Oliva.
I know that guy.
Anyone complaining about Cody Rhodes has never competed at a high level in sports in their life.
Okay, you read that way more like snarky than I wrote that. Like you're reading that like I was spitting on people and like shitting on their dogs. Like the fact of the matter, here's the truth. This is what I meant by this. Is the fact of the matter is that I read so much, and from friends, from people that I like and respect, so much like over the topness of, oh my God, this is such a bad precedent. How can he do this? This is so irresponsible. And like, all I could think is you guys have never, you don't understand, like, to be a high level athlete. I'm not going to do the humble brag thing, but to be a high level athlete, you have to be wired a little differently. And I'm going to tell a story right now. And this is not a good story. This is JD is an idiot story. Playing high school football, I got a stinger once and my shoulder went numb to my fingers and it came back in about 30 seconds. It was pretty scary. And about 3 years later, I was wrestling in college and I picked the dude up and I brought him down in mat return and my arm went numb again. And I went, this is scary. And I threw my legs in and somehow I rode the guy with one arm. And then my arm came back. I was like, oh, okay, good. That was spooky. And then it happened again. And then it happened again. And then it happened again. And it got scary. And then I had to do a 16-pound and 18-hour cut, weight cut. I'd lose 16 pounds in 18 hours. That's a story for another day. And I wrestled well. But then that next day in practice, I was getting out of an underhook and my shoulder went numb and I didn't feel it. It didn't come back. And I was not going to tell my coach because I finally became the starter. And I got everything I was working for. And I had put so much time, effort, and desire into getting this spot that I had finally had that I was going to wrestle until I couldn't possibly do it anymore. And then I did. That's what happened. I had the next match. I couldn't do anything. I got my ass kicked because I was wrestling with one arm and I had this giant emotional breakdown. And I found out I had a herniated disc in my neck. And doctors wanted to fuse, but my trainer's like, I was 20 at the time. You're too young. We're going to do therapy. So I missed the rest of my sophomore year of college doing physical therapy, trying to get my neck healed and my shoulder strong. Like, this is what a high level athlete thinks. They don't think about what precedence does this set for everyone else. Their concern is what is best for me and what do I want? Like, Cody Rhodes has talked the talk and done all this stuff to get to this moment. All in, AEW, TNT title, all of that was to make himself the highest possible the most valuable commodity possible so that he could go back to WWE. And he did it. He got what he wanted. He's good, and he knew he had one match in him, and he was headlining a show in Chicago of all places. And he wasn't going to give it up. Yeah. And I'm saying it, if you don't have to like it, I understand. If you're going to be a reasonable human being, because I am not a reasonable human being. I'm a moron, right? I literally
very much are. Yeah.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you. I literally pushed my body until it couldn't go anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And that's how athletes are wired. Like Jordan Burroughs, my sport's greatest competitor, wrestled I believe it was the 2018 World Championships with a broken ankle and had a quick little what do you call it? A piece of metal stuck in there to keep it together, and he wrestled on it and won a world title. And that stuff is celebrated in sports. You might not like it. Kurt Angle with a broken neck. He did. He had legitimately. He didn't know he had a broken neck, but he wrestled through it. Right. This is, and it's not because it's not like That guy, and we have this image of the coach from Varsity Blues who's like, you're gonna do this sport until I tell you can stop. And the poor athlete's like, I just want to. That's not reality. Like, these guys want to be out there and they need to be stopped. The doctors need to say, you know what, no. But at the same time, if it's torn off the bone and it ain't gonna get worse,
there you go.
What's one more?
Yeah.
To cement your legacy. Is cementing your legacy worth it? When you're gonna miss 6 months anyway. Yep. What's 1 week? What's one match?
What's one 24-minute match?
Right.
And a beat down the next night, knowing that you got to have surgery on Tuesday.
Right.
I thought it was just absolutely incredible, and I think he made himself a megastar with what he did.
100%. 100%. And it's like, well, this sets a dangerous precedent in the locker room. I'm like, you're in the WWE. Paul Orndorff couldn't move his damn arm and was making 6 figures worth Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, like Triple H tore his quad in the middle of a match against Jericho and Benoit, right? Still finished the match, did the pedigree on the table, limped through, got himself pinned, and then came back and he was a bigger star than he ever was before after that.
But if you're not wired, I'm not saying that because it's something I'm like humble bragging. If you're not wired that way, you'll never understand the mindset.
Right. So I guess the point I was trying to make is Cody's not setting this precedent. No. This precedent's been there, right? And it's been in wrestling forever. It's been in high level sports.
It's sports.
Ronnie Lott in 1986 cut off his pinky in the middle of a game so he can finish it, right?
Like, now that's balls.
Yes. Yeah, one of my favorite players of all time, Jordan, right? Had the 104-degree temperature playing for the Bulls, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So like this is out there. This is not anything Cody. He's not setting a precedent. He's not a bad influence. This is just how these guys are. They're all animals. They're all nuts, and that's why we like to watch them on television.
Mm-hmm. And that's the thing too. It's an upper body injury. You can get away with it. Like with Punk's foot. So like, Punk should have tried to get through it. Did you watch that FTR match?
Yeah.
Did you watch the man? He couldn't do anything. Like he physically, he's not the most gifted athlete to begin with. Like he physically, if your body won't physically allow you to do it, that's one thing. A torn pec is horrible, but you can move your legs. Right? That's the difference. Mm-hmm. If your foot's broke, you can't stand. Like they're different injuries. Everything has a point. You go until you can't. And again, I'm not saying it's ethically correct. Right? No, I'm not saying you have to do this. I'm saying that if this is the kind of stuff you do, this is how you're wired. Yeah. You're going to go till you can't.
Dude, my wife was lecturing him through the TV. And I'm sure Brandy gave him an earful after that match was over and probably gave him an earful before the match even started.
Guaranteed.
But it is what it is, right? Mm-hmm. And he did it, and it was one of the most incredible things I've ever seen in my life. So,
and some guy got really mad at me for posting that.
Oh yeah,
super mad at me. I got tweeted so many gifs. I got so many sassy gifs thrown in my face. It was ridiculous.
Yeah. Here, I will bring.
You're actually gonna read them. Okay.
Oh yeah. I'll actually read it. Here, let me pull this up because you DM'd it to me.
I did. Okay.
And I won't say the guy's name. I'm not gonna put it because I don't like to bully people. But here's what he said. He said, "Fuck off." Seriously, fuck off. There was no reason whatsoever for him to be out there like that. Anyone with a shred of common fucking sense or decency isn't wrong for feeling that way. But yes, toxic masculinity, mindless mark mentality, shame anyone who doesn't agree. And then he's got a picture here, a gif of Forrest Gump doing stupid as a stupid does. What a dork.
At no point did I say you're a wuss. I was going to use the P word. At no point did I say that you were less of a person for that. All I said was if you've never been at anything at that high of a level athletically, you don't understand the mindset. And that guy proved my point. He doesn't understand the mindset.
You're judging something that you've never had to do, that you've never been a part of, that you can't do.
Well, you can say you call it mark mentality. I mean, like, you don't think that's good. Who's the mark here? Cody goes out there and makes himself suffer for 24 minutes for his legacy. WWE is going to have that in highlight videos for decades.
It's going to be part of his Hall of Fame speech.
100%.
Yeah.
It's his legacy. He's famous.
Yes.
He's famous because of that moment. Vince will talk about that till the day he dies. They will talk about this stuff forever. And like I said, if that kind of stuff is not important to you, You'll never understand it.
That's it. He just doesn't understand it. You know what I my reply to that guy is, first off, fuck your bitch and the click you claim. West Side when we die coming quick with game. You claim to be a player, but I effed your wife. We bust some bad boy. Fuck for life. Plus Puffy trying to see me. Weak hearts I rip. Biggie Smalls and Junior Mafia, some mark ass bitches. We keep on coming while we're running for your jewel steady gun and keep on hustling, busting at them fools. You know the rules. Little Caesar, go ask your homie how I leave you. Cut your youngest up, leave you in pieces. Now be deceased. Little Kim, don't fuck around with real G's. Quick to snatch your ugly ass off the streets. So fuck peace.
To be fair, neither of us are real.
I was
G's.
reading it. I couldn't remember. I used to be able to do it like that, but I couldn't remember. I'm getting old.
We're not teenagers anymore, man. So I mean, like,
no,
to know hit them up, off the top of your head is a little much. But yes,
maybe God Illo put me on one of his records. Maybe
you just got an LOL,
or he's purposely not going to invite me. As I did stumble over a couple.
Oh, yes.
I used to be able to do that, that song specifically. I used to be able to nail it.
Well, it was a classic. It was a classic.
Yeah. But hey, you know what? So we got a big LOL out of Chuck, and then official Lil Silver said, "I like that. Not bad." And then it's not too bad for a middle-aged white guy doing some Tupac.
Not too good either, but
You didn't realize that you were going to get some rap songs from Gilbert.
I didn't. You surprised me still on this show, which is good. Never a dull moment.
Well, you surprised me by being live on YouTube, so I'm just paying you back.
Hey, we're even. Who's really going to be surprised? Garrett.
Hey, should we even tell Garrett that we went live? Like, should we just try to not say it?
No, I gotta. Well, he's gonna listen to the show and be like, "What the hell, guys?" So it's gonna be like, "Well, sorry, boss."
Yeah. Hashtag don't fire Mike and JD, please. Hashtag.
5 minutes for the show, I messaged Mike and said, I cannot remember how to start the StreamYard thing because I missed last week. I just figured out 2 weeks ago and I missed last week. And so Mike said, oh, here's what you do. So I'm going through it. The next thing I know, we're live.
Yeah.
And remember, I thought 2 weeks ago, I thought we were live and we weren't. So one of these days, I'm going to figure this out.
2 weeks ago, you thought we were live, so you thought you were tweeting out a link to the show when in fact you're tweeting out the link to get in the show, and we got prank called by Brady.
Which was a great move. I mean, Brady, it was an all-time classic for Brady on that one. I appreciated it.
Well, official Lil Silver said we should go live on the regular. The problem is, what time is it where you're at, JD?
It's 1:15 in the morning.
Yeah, that's the struggle right there. I don't think. Well, this is BFI up all night or BFI after dark.
Up all night.
Yeah.
From Children of the 90s should remember that one.
All right, guys. Hey, that's gonna do it for this week. And until next week, mahalo.